Preseason week 2 for the Eagles. Um, Browns traveled to Philadelphia, which that was what, 5, 6, 7 days ago. I don't know. I've had a long week. Um, yeah, Eagles play tomorrow night. So you might get a sh stream or a recording, a new video at some point for tomorrow's game this weekend or Monday. I don't know. I don't know because we got a lot to do. So you'll probably see this the morning of the Eagles' final preseason game. But I'm still going to recap. A lot has happened for the Eagles this week. We made a trade for a wide receiver. A wide receiver got hurt and is out for the year. We found that out this morning. So yeah, let's just dive right into it. First quarter, let's just go through. Let's go through the Browns and Eagles game. Wasn't really that exciting. If you saw all the starters doing all of what we saw in this game to start, you'd be like, this game was kind of boring. Um, First quarter, second play of the game, Jahad Campbell got a sack on a Browns quarterback, Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel is obviously starting this game. Shador Sanders was starting the previous game. Shador's hurt. Dylan Gabriel was hurt last week. The Browns got a bunch of injuries. Dylan Gabriel's playing this game. Um, I thought Dylan Gabriel did a solid job here and there, but costly mistakes for Dylan Gabriel, especially in a tight quarterback battle. Shador was not making those mistakes last week. Uh, so Shador's probably leading the Browns quarterback battle at the moment. Jeremiah Trotter was making a lot of good plays in the opening drive, but he did have a missed tackle, which was ugly. He was all over the place whenever he was out there. Um, he maybe needs to just get stronger. I know this dude can be a dog in this league. He just needs to, I don't know, gets more physical. He could probably be a good coverage linebacker. He's missing some tackles. But he is all over the place. I appreciate his effort a lot. There are a lot of linebackers, especially in my time of watching the Eagles, that that weren't doing stuff like this. So it's great to see. Something that I didn't see last week at all, but this week definitely was apparent. Josh Uche and Azeez Ojulari, both were making really good pass rush moves. Um, the issue I had with them is they lacked patience. Um, they lacked patience on a few plays, so they would instantly go for the outside rush and then run play left, right side, right where they would have been if one of them made a move inside. So they are. Look, I love the explosiveness. I love that explosiveness. I love to see that because that shows potential. But you gotta be more patient. You have to be patient. Um, Dory Jackson, he's just been struggling. I don't even know if I mentioned him last week. But I I don't know I don't know how he makes this roster. He's just struggling out there in coverage. Whoever's the quarterback is just constantly looking at Adoree. He just can't seem to cover anyone right now. So, especially after the trade for Jacorian Bennett had a pretty solid outing, especially being with the team for less than a week. I think he did a pretty good job. Keely Ringo was not really out there all that much. So for the cornerback two job, Jacorian Bennett probably has a small lead just because he hasn't been here very long. After that, it's probably Keely Ringo based off snaps. And just overall play. Dory Jackson just I haven't seen anything good out of Adoree Jackson. I mean, when the Eagles signed Adoree Jackson, when I heard they were signing him, I was like, oh, okay. I mean, he has potential to be good, but based off of what he has done recently, I don't know if I see it. So yeah, he's been struggling. Yeah, I don't know how he makes the team. Um, on the opening drive, Browns running back Amani Marshall ran in a 4-yard touchdown. A bad snap on the extra point led to an unsuccessful try. Um, Dorian Thompson Robinson was starting for the Eagles at quarterback and AJ Dillon at running back. No Tanner McKee for this game. Pretty much locks him in to he's or pretty much he's locked into to make this roster. I don't think he's getting traded. I think if he were to have played this game, I think there were my stance would have still stood that there's a chance he gets traded right after the preseason's done. But I mean, him not playing at all tells me what I need to know, or what I already know, and that's Tanner McKee's definitely our quarterback two for the rest of the season. So if Tanner McKee if he's not an Eagle, it'll probably I should start over. After this season, I think there's a chance that Tanner McKee gets traded. I don't, but during this season, no, that's not going to happen. If it does, I'd be shocked. But Howie Roseman, ever since Nick Foles, has been dead set on getting a backup quarterback that can be really good. So we got the Kyle McCord DTR or Kyle McQB3 and DTR show for this whole game, which I want a different quarterback three. Because man, it was rough watching both of them. They were both bad in their own unique ways. So DTR, I'm just gonna Dorian Thompson Robinson. I'm gonna call him DTR. He started for the Eagles at quarterback, AJ Dillon at running back, so no Will Shipley. AJ Dillon again running with as the third running back. It's pretty obvious. I love the depth at running back right now. I really hope AJ Dillon makes this team because I want to see him run behind the starting offensive line because that he can this can be a scary trio between Saquon, Will Shipley, and AJ Dillon. I know Saquon's going to get all the carries, but Saquon needs a break. I love seeing Shipley and AJ Dillon, and if something were happening to Saquon, I love that duo that we have behind him. Um, so this seems to be our third string offense mainly out there to start the game. Uh, it's an interesting philosophy to have the game with mainly guys who are fighting for roster spots or competitions for game two. So I don't know how game three is going to go. My assumption is the first half will be starters. If we don't see any starters, to be a little concerning because I don't want to go into the regular season rough like we have in years past. So I want to see some of the starters out there. Actually, I'd like to see all the starters out there. I know it's a preseason game, but you gotta get into a groove. You need to get into a rhythm. You need to build this chemistry back because you lost it. Every team loses that chemistry just a little bit during the whole off season. Every team does. Um, AJ Dillon catches a pass for a loss of 12 yards after a tip pass that was batted down by Matt Pryor. Uh, it was caught instead of purposely being dropped, and the Eagles had to punt on the opening drive. So, all right, basically, DTR is getting rushed, right? And he gets nailed, but he throws it away. The issue is it got tipped backwards. So, Matt Pryor, being a logical, sane human being, wants to bat the ball down so that nobody can catch it. Because if an offensive player catches it, we're going to lose a bunch of yards. If a defense player catches it, then they got the ball in the red zone, about to score. So Matt Pryor is the logical, sane human being in this entire equation. Never thought I'd say that based off last week. And AJ Dillon's out here. AJ Dillon's not a pass catcher, let's be honest. And he caught the ball. Why are you catching the ball in that situation? Um, I don't know. Maybe it was instincts. AJ Dillon wasn't thinking. He was just caught up in the moment. I get that. I get that. It's preseason too. You want to make some crazy plays happen too. So, but you just got to be smarter in that situation. Maybe next time. Um, but also AJ Dillon in a pass play. I doubt we ever see that in the whole regular season. Even if something happens to Saquon, Will Shipley will be out there for receiving plays just because he's a better receiver than AJ Dillon. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's funny. It's such a crazy play. Um, so I don't know who going on the defensive side. I don't know who Brandon Johnson is, a corner. I heard he was an undrafted guy. First time seeing him, he was allowed way too many passes. He was undrafted and playing with the starters of this game. They're not the starters, but the starters of this specific game. Um, I assume Vic Fangio is just trying to see who's got what, maybe see if they got a hidden talent. Again, Eli Ricks made one pretty bad coverage play in the game, but otherwise I'm still on the Eli Ricks train. Eli Ricks will always have a fan in me. This is how I felt with Rasul Douglas. I wish I was doing these videos when Rasul Douglas was still on the Eagles. Rasul's now a free agent. I would love to see Rasul back in Philly, but I feel like Eli Ricks should probably be the cornerback three. I'm thinking Cooper DeJean's the slot corner. But I'm when I say cornerback three, I think the third on the depth chart on the outside corner position. But yeah, I like Eli Ricks so much. So I seeing guys like Brandon Johnson get these snaps. Oh, that's great. Second quarter. On the first play of the second quarter, Eagles rookie safety Drew Makuba. I kept on calling him Andrew Makuba, but he goes by Drew. Drew Makuba intercepted a pass and returned it 75 yards for a touchdown. So Dylan Gabriel, two receivers were running a route into the same vicinity. It was such a weird design play. Either someone didn't run the route correctly, or the play is just a stupid play. I doubt Stefanski made a stupid play. I think it was a player not running the right route. And Dylan Gabriel's like he's running outside the pocket trying to make a throw. He sees two guys and he throws it in a window where he's like, okay, one of them has to catch it. But it was the perfect window that Drew Makuba just runs in between them both and just snags that ball and runs it to the house. An incredible play by Makuba. Just unfortunate for the Browns. It kind of just a silly play altogether. It's either someone not running the right route or whatever. But Drew Makuba, man, that was one way to start your Eagles career. I know that won't go into his stat sheet, but that's awesome. It's cool to see a rookie do that so quickly into their career too. And this won't be the last we hear of Drew Makuba in this game. Um, Makuba at the end of this game, he took a big leap in the safety battle between him and Sidney Brown. I still think Sidney Brown kind of deserves that spot. I mean, he's had a history of success before Vic Fangio even came into this team. I think he deserves it. In fact, before this game, I still wanted to see if we could sign Justin Simmons. After this game, I don't really even know if we need him because we could rotate Makuba or Sidney Brown. Now, if an injury happens to one of our safeties, I would love to get someone like Justin Simmons because he runs Vic Fangio's defense perfectly at safety. I mean, the last time he was with Vic Fangio, he was one of the best, he was arguably the best safety in the whole league. So, I I like our safety group right now. I don't think there's a lot of depth behind Reed Blankenship, but I like Makuba and Sidney Brown being in that other spot. I really like that. So Aziz Ojulari got a third down sack to force a Browns field goal attempt. Aziz of the two between Aziz Ojulari and Josh Uche, Aziz is definitely he's just looking so much better. He looks more comfortable with this team. Josh Uche, I really haven't seen much except for explosiveness. Otherwise, he's not really anything legitimate in terms of physical numbers. Um, yeah, he got a third down sack. It was a clutch sack. You want to see clutch sacks, third down sacks. Those are perfect. Um, Browns kicker Dustin Hopkins kicked a 46-yard field goal. Hopkins is one of the best kickers in the league. With less than 7 minutes in the first half, Eagles offense had to punt on their second offensive drive. Yes, on their second offensive drive. So to this point in the game, before the field goal, the Eagles are winning this game. And their second offensive drive came with less than 7 minutes left in the second quarter because of the Drew Makuba interception and just these long Browns drives. So on top of that, DTR's first offensive series was abysmal. Um, so Dylan Gabriel fumbled a handoff after the Eagles punt, and Drew Makuba recovered the fumble at the Cleveland 28-yard line. To this point in the game, the Browns are playing Drew Makuba. They are not playing anyone else. Drew Makuba is just single-handedly dominating right now. Um, at this point, like I had Sidney Brown before this game as like the clear and obvious starter. Drew Makuba made a statement in his first game. Uh, and it's great to see that. It's also great to see a player, a defensive back, wearing number 24 on the Eagles in the last 15 years and actually being good because it doesn't happen often. Outside of James Bradbury that 1 year, it doesn't happen very often. Um, Kyle McCord came in for DTR around 6:30 left in the first half. Um, I really loved Montrell Johnson. He's a running back, undrafted running back the Eagles got. I loved him at Florida. I really love his explosiveness. And he showed on a few good runs on his opening drive that he's really good. I mean, all the running backs past AJ Dillon, Shipley, and Saquon have been really good. I haven't seen one running back that I'm like, this guy sucks. I've seen a lot of really good players who can go somewhere else and be pretty good or be on our practice squad in case someone gets hurt. I would love to keep four running backs right now, but ideally we're only going to be keeping three. Um, yeah, I love Montrell Johnson. I love that signing too. He was one of my favorite running backs in the whole draft. On a roughing the passer penalty, Kyle McCord hit Anais Smith for a 9-yard receiving touchdown. They enforced the penalty on the 2-point conversion, which was unsuccessful with a run by Montrell Johnson. It was a great job by McCord getting the pass off right before he's about to get hit. Browns kicker Andre Schmidt Schmidt? I think it's Schmidt. I'm pretty sure it's Schmidt. He kicked a 49-yard field goal to end the half. So right before this field goal, Sirianni iced the kicker, and him and Stefanski were having this look to one another, like, "Yeah, we're doing this in preseason, bro." It was a comical moment in the game, and I'm glad to see two coaches having their fun. Um, Eagles led at halftime 13-12. So mainly because of Andrew Makupa. Um, Third quarter seemed like the entire game will be a mix of these third team group of players and guys competing for a starting job. Despite Kyle McCord starting the first drive of the second half, DTR came in for the second drive of the second half at quarterback. For the rest of this game, every drive they're rotating DTR Kyle McCord, DTR Kyle McCord, and neither are showing anything. In fact, I think this whole rotating thing probably made things worse because they neither of them could get a rhythm going. Um, but yeah, they were pretty abysmal. DTR's first pass of the second half, he gets hit and throws an interception to Browns defensive end KJ Henry, who returns it 45 yards for a touchdown. Now, Henry was on the Eagles earlier this season, but we cut him. He returned him 45 yards for a touchdown. McCord came right back in for the third drive of the second half. One note on the defensive side, Smile Mondin Jr., he was playing really good. I was like, wow, this guy's pretty good. Like first week he was, he wasn't noticeable. This week he was moving around. He was moving around making clutch tackles. I was like, wow, this guy's pretty good. Um, I mean, I like our linebacker room, but now we had Smile Mondin. Like, that's pretty good. I mean, you got Bond, N'Kobe Dean's hurt, obviously. Trotter, Jahad Campbell, Ben Van Sumeren got moved to fullback, so he's half. Um, and Smile Mondin, like I like that group. I like that. If that's our linebackers going in the year, yeah, I love it. Fourth quarter, first play of second half, Pierre Strong Jr. ran a 52-yard touchdown to the Philadelphia 18-yard line. Smile Mondin got faked out in the backfield. It's the one bad play. He made a rookie mistake. He was looking in the backfield, and it was a he got faked out in the backfield. It was a counter, I'm pretty sure, and he was going. Smile was going to the right, and the running back goes to Smile's right, but then cuts through the hole to the left because Smile went to the right. So Smile has to be patient in that situation, um, and not be so aggressive. And that's maybe just a rookie mistake. Um, yeah, they ended up a 52-yard run by Pierre Strong. Browns turned the ball over on downs at the Philadelphia 10-yard line. Run defense did well in short yardage, but the Browns' blunders led to turnovers and not necessarily how well the defense played. Yeah, I don't think the Philadelphia run defense to this point in the game was great. Um, but I think the Browns' offense was probably worse. Uh, DTR started the fourth quarter. Offense can't get anything going in the second half. Perry Nickerson, uh, he's been playing well at corner. He's making some tackles. He's doing solid in coverage. I don't know if he's going to make the team. If he does, he could be a pretty good special teamer. Um, don't be shocked if Keely Ringo got traded. Keely Ringo last year, in my opinion, was an all-pro level special teamer. Um, he was he was on field goal blocks. He was on a gunner on punt returns. He was on kickoffs. He just was, and he was just. I don't know if I can remember the last time I saw a gunner play this well for Philadelphia. Last year with Keely Ringo. So if if Keely's going to be stepping away from special teams to starting, and he's not really doing well starting at corner, then you might see Keely get traded, especially after the Jacorian Bennett acquisition. Perry Nickerson could go play special teams. That's just kind of something I'm throwing out there. Um, on a scramble drill, this is the Eli Ricks play I was talking about. Eli Ricks made his worst play of the preseason, allowing a mid-range pass. It was pretty simple design play. Eli Ricks just didn't wasn't able to cover very well. Um, this is also the first time I'm seeing Ricks on the field, which was a little concerning in this game. I mean, the first game he played so well, and then this game I didn't see him all that much up until this point. Like I'm thinking Eli might get cut. I really don't want to see that. I like Eli Ricks. I don't want to see him on the practice squad either. Like we saw him on the practice squad all year last year. I'm surprised no other team picked him up. Um, Andre Schmidt kicked a 33-yard field goal for the Browns. Eagles flipping McCord, like I said, in DTR every single drive. Neither are making any noise. Um, how bad was the offensive? How bad was the offense playing? Well, on the final offensive drive, Kyle McCord threw an interception called back because of a penalty. So that now it's 1st and 5. The offense gained 0 yards on 2nd and 5, 0 yards on 3rd and 5. And on 4th and 5, turn the ball over on downs at their own 47-yard line. So they gained 0 yards after a penalty that set them up on 1st and 5. Um, Browns ended up winning 22-13. Um, Mainly offense couldn't really get much going. Uh, I mean, you had Anais. I mean, outside of Anais, I mean, Drew Makuba set them up for the Anais Smith touchdown. Drew Makuba had the pick six. Um, I mean, Drew Makuba was doing everything for this team in this game to get all the points. Um, yeah, with the offense didn't do all that much. Overall thoughts. Yeah, mix of Browns starters for the first half and players they are considering starting. No Tanner McKee, which, like I said, made him a lock for QB2. It was weird not seeing the starters. Eagles have a tough start to the have had tough starts to the regular season, so I would like to see a drive or two of the starters next week. Um, it's interesting. Brett Toth played center for a little bit there, and Drew Kendall played left guard. I love that because I suggested we try one of the rookies at guard with Landon Dickerson hurt. Drew Kendall, I mean, we have two tackles who are really good. I want to keep them at tackle because Lane Johnson's getting up there in age. I want to see who can be the guy to replace him when he retires and hangs it up. So we need to figure out the interior offensive line if an injury happens. And I think Drew Kendall trying to force him into being a good guard. I like that a lot. Um, both had solid games too. I'm glad Kendall got action. If he has to play for Landon Dickerson, I guess the joint practices throughout the week for the Eagles were everything they needed to see, which is why we didn't see a lot of starters or backups. We were seeing third string guys throughout the game because of those joint practices, which you know what happens with a lot of joint practices. Some teams are very comfortable with what they see in joint practices, and they're like, all right, we'll throw out the guys who are going to compete for a job uh, in this game. So yeah, that's the Eagles week 2. I don't really have much else to say. I'll talk about the trades and injuries. So um, a lot of injuries happened this week. Tanner McKee got hurt. AJ Brown still dealing with hamstring injury. Devontae Smith had an injury. There's a lot of guys hurt. Um, Johnny Wilson suffered a knee and ankle injury that's going to require surgery. We found out this morning that he will be out for the season. That sucks because I love Johnny Wilson. He was locked into the wide receiver 4 in my opinion before we got John Mechie. Um, he was the best blocking receiver on the whole team. I even considered, hey, maybe you do switch him to tight end, because he could probably compete for the second tight end spot. And if he's good enough, could be the starter next year. So it sucks to see a man like that go down. And I mean, he has so much potential. He had such a great game week 1. Week 2, we really didn't see much, mainly because quarterback play sucks. So we didn't even see Darius Cooper. Anais Smith had the touchdown catch, but that was really it. Johnny Wilson didn't even get many targets. And I mean, if Tanner McKee was out there, they probably would have had them. If Jalen Hurts were out there, they definitely would have had them. So it just sucks to see Johnny Wilson get hurt. So Eagles before the injury actually traded for John Mechie, and I was a little confused by it. I like John Mechie. I didn't really care for him at Alabama. I thought he was a little overrated, but his story of battling leukemia, I mean, you can't help but root for him. Um, so he's been battling on and off the field. I'm really glad. I was really glad to see him play a few times here last year with the Texans. Obviously, Devontae and him were best friends at Alabama, and one of the first people to contact John Mechie after the trade was Devontae Smith. So I love seeing that. Love seeing uh, old teammates reunited once again. Um, Especially, I think John Mechie, culture wise, he'll fit right in. Um, As for the depth chart and why we made the trade, so we ended up trading Harrison Bryant. I mentioned last week, I think this tight end room's a little crowded. So it made sense trading one of the tight ends. I didn't even see a lot of Harrison Bryant in week one, so or week two. So I was like, all right, well, he's the odd man out either way. Kyron Granson, the guy we got from the Colts, he's pretty much locked into tight end three right now, behind Calcaterra and Goddard. So when we got Mechie, I'm thinking, all right, well, Dotson hasn't even suited up for week two. Like, I don't even think Dotson, I think Dotson locked his spot up at wide receiver three. And Johnny Wilson, everybody knows he's making the team because of his ability to block, his size, his potential. Like, he was guaranteed to make the team. So Mechie would have been a wide receiver four on the depth chart, but getting wide receiver five snaps because Johnny Wilson would have gotten all the run plays for blocking. So it was a little confusing, the logistics of the trade. It really didn't make sense, especially after Darius Cooper had such a great performance. Anaya Smith had probably his best game that I've seen out of him in week one. So at week two, like, they struggled mainly because of quarterback play. Like, if you want to blame anyone, go trade for a third string receiver quarterback. Go sign, like, I don't know, Jordan Ta'amu, who's got a connection with AJ Brown from Ole Miss. So yeah, it really didn't make sense, the trade. But since Johnny Wilson got hurt, you got three guys who are similar styles in terms of their route running abilities. Mechie's obviously more of a speed guy, but Dotson and Devontae are more route runners. I heard Mechie was looking at punt return duties this week, so testing him out pretty much everywhere. Uh, so yeah, as of now, AJ Brown's wide receiver one outside, Devontae's slot wide receiver two, wide receiver three Jahan, and wide receiver four is Mechie. Which even before at the end of last week's episode, it was like, okay, you gotta see if who that other receiver spot is going to be. It's I mean, Darius Cooper's really fought for that spot. Anaya Smith has struggled. So I don't know. Right now, I would lean with Darius Cooper, just because of what I've seen out of him. I think Anaya Smith's return ability was kind of important to that spot. So we'll see how that spot holds up. That's really the position. That's the only position on the offense that I'm like, I don't know I don't know who's going to get that final wide receiver spot. Um, and on defense, it's obviously what are the edge rushers going to look like going into the season, and who's going to be the opposite corner of Quinyon Mitchell. So as of now, it's Shakorian Bennett. I think that's pretty obvious based off stats last season, potential, age, contract, and what he's shown on the field in little time. So yeah, that's week two for the Eagles. One more week left in the preseason, and then we get a mini bye before the regular season kicks off with Eagles and Cowboys. So until then, you will hear from me next week for the final um, preseason game for the Eagles, and the Eagles will also be releasing their 53-man roster. So you'll hear from me about depth chart, what I'm projecting for this season, projecting. Yeah. So hopefully get to see some starters in there. I still want to see Tanner McKee out there, maybe in the second half. So you got to get some rhythm going in before the regular season. But until then, I'll see y'all next week. So go Birds.